Many people are asking now, like, how to free Palestine, how to free Gaza, how to help the people over there. The one thing that will really help the people of Palestine and help the entire Ummah of Muhammad, the entire Muslim Ummah of Muhammad, to free this place, Al-Aqsa Masjid, is improving our Iman and having confidence and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by going back to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by favoring al-akhirah, by favoring the hereafter more than this dunya. But if this dunya became the center of our attention, forget about Palestine. Forget about Palestine. They have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to assist them in their trials and in struggles. Don't fear anything about the Palestinians. What you see about the Palestinians is actually their reward. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is elevating their rewards to the highest. Their dead are not dead. And those who are alive, they are fighting for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and their reward will be upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The real challenge, my brothers and sisters in Islam, is you and I. Allah will question us, what have you done? And the problem is we cannot do anything because we are busy with the dunya. We're busy with our comfort. Yeah, be careful. Unless you go back to the deen of Allah, unless you give up your sins to the best of your ability, abandon sins and go back to Allah, forget about having a role to play about freeing Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi, the great warrior of all time, when they asked him about why you're not smiling, we never seen you smile. He said, how could I smile when Al-Aqsa is under siege, when the Al-Aqsa is in the hands of the oppressors? How could I smile? Because this was the advice of the Prophet ﷺ, go and free Al-Aqsa. Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu arda, when he traveled from Medina all the way to Al-Aqsa, to Jerusalem, to receive the keys of Jerusalem after we conquered it. It is the only city that Umar ibn al-Khattab, at that time, Amir al-Mu'mineen, the leader of the believers, who at that time, he runs 33 countries on today's world map. The Muslim world at that time was under Umar ibn al-Khattab's leadership. 33 countries. He never been to any of those cities except Jerusalem. This is how important the place was. Al-Aqsa Masjid, to fulfill the dream of our beloved Prophet ﷺ, go and free Al-Aqsa. And when he arrived, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, he was walking and pulling his camel, and his servant was on the top of the camel. They agreed from the time they left Medina that they will rest. 1 hour somebody would be on the top, somebody would be pulling the camel, and so on. When they arrived at the outskirts of Medina, Umar ibn Khattab was walking, and it was muddy to a point that the narrator mentioned that the mud had reached the knees of Umar ibn Khattab. Look how dirty he was upon arriving at Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. And who was waiting for him there? 30 of the bishops of Jerusalem. They knew of Umar ibn Khattab, that magnificent man, that personality, the courageous personality, the fair judge, and so on. They knew about him, so they were waiting for him. Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah radiallahu anhu, one of the companions, was also waiting for Umar ibn Khattab at the entrance of Al-Quds. And when he saw Umar ibn Khattab coming with all his clothes dirty and his feet and legs are full of mud, and he said that he had over 17 holes in his cloak. 17 holes. So Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah, may Allah be pleased with him, he came to Umar, he told him, Ya Umar, is this how you're going to meet those dignitaries, those people, of influence? So listen what Umar ibn al-Khattab said, my brothers and sisters in Islam. I will end with this inshallah, and then answer your questions if there are any. He said, Ya Aba Ubaidah, O Abu Ubaidah, نحن قوم أعزنا الله بالإسلام. We are people who were dignified and were honored through Islam. فإن ابتغينا العزة بغيره أذلنا الله. If we were to seek any honor or any dignity through any other means except Islam, Allah will humiliate us. Allah will disgrace us. And then he looked in his eyes and said, Ya Aba Ubaidah, O Abu Ubaidah, هم يجلوننا لإسلامنا لا لثيابنا. These people that you are looking at, those dignitaries, those people of influence, the bishops, they respect us and they honor us, and they're waiting for me here, not because of my clothing, not because of my position, but because of my Islam. Because they know that our Islam comes number one priority. And because of Islam, we have Al-Aqsa now. Because of Islam, we are the leader of this place now. This is what it takes, my brothers and sisters in Islam, to bring Al-Aqsa back. That honor. When we put Islam before anything else, when we put Al-Akhirah before the dunya. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, يُوشِكُ أَن تَدَاعَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْأُمَمْ كَمَا تَدَاعَ الْأَكَلَةُ عَلَى قَصْعَتِهَا. That the nations are about to gather on you. The nations are about to gather on you, just like how insects gather on food, uncovered food. And someone told the Prophet ﷺ, is this because we will be very, very little in number? People will gather against us? He said, no. بَلْ أَنْتُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ كَثِيرٌ. On that day, it will be plenty. It will be too much. 2 billion Muslims. 2 billion Muslims. But you will be like غُثَاءُ السَّيْلِ. But you will be, although you will be big in number, but you will be just like the rubbish of the sea on the seashore. It will be washed away with the waves. No really weight to you. You're too much in number, but no weight to that number. You're weak, and that's why you're washed away. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take away from the hearts of your enemies the respect that you deserve. The respect for you will be taken away from the hearts of your enemy. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cast in your hearts instead al-wahm. They asked the Prophet ﷺ, what is al-wahm? He said, حُبُّ الدُّنْيَا وَكَرَاهِيَةُ الْمَوْتِ. The love of the dunya, and to hate to meet Allah, to hate to die for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.